race lap and getting on this race started. We're going to find out exactly what these drivers in the front half and back half have.
Competitive out there.
Refresh for your stream.
Who's ready for some great racing action? I know we are. For the Trophy Smack 225
Kentucky
award winner for tonight's race.
Legacy.
Goes to 67 of Larry Yingling, the last driver to win this race back in season 6. Second on the front row, it's going to be the 79 of Benjamin.
Tough race tonight.
Only driver that's locked into our championship round. Shane Terrian, Brian McCann, the two bubble drivers that are going to be trying to figure out who's in or out. Going to be in the second row. Dak Hall, Brian P. Johnson. Veterans of this
5
series,
people get dropped tonight, and I'm
tough race for everybody else.
Trying to go for his second championship. 7th will be Ryan Kelly. 8th will be by Nick Crawford. Ollie Fonseca going to be in 9th. And finish out our top 10, it's the 13 of Cedric Hunter.
And rolling up 11th going to be Bryson Hicksonbaugh, and 12th.
I'm sitting in 6th, and the cutoff line is right behind me. So whoever's in 7th, 14 points tonight.
15th going to be Kids Cut. 16th going to be Cameron Sarton. 17th rolling off.
Oh, he gets it in the line.
Going to be having to get max points tonight.
I forgot about that.
Alongside him going to be Christopher Wade in 18th.
I'm on the front row, ain't I?
And in 20th going to be Douglas.
That moves you up.
21st
Moving on up. Yes, sir.
Alongside him. And finish out our last row. Going to be
Oh, boy.
Well in 23rd and Chris Stitz in 24th.
Starting
I think my biggest threat is going to be Crawford.
with some penalties for drivers. Going to be seeing drivers at the end of the line for themselves.
He did run a long run practice, 35 laps, so he's going to be prepared.
Going to be out of control.
Hey, Derek, how's it going?
Well, the drop to the end of the
Just like you.
It's going to be moving up the 8th machine of Brian McCann, and everyone that's on the outside row will move up position. So it's going to be a different.
I don't know where the start line
Let's go.
is.
Good luck.
Drivers have to start further on back. How will we see Nelson work through the field, or will we find ourselves with a driver that's in a must-win scenario, able to get into victory lane?
Coming up to the line, right.
Oh, I see it now.
Pit road.
Go, go, go.
Who's making the championship 6? Let's find
Good start.
150 laps. We will not be having a stage caution. No patch or repair. And the field
Remember, cold tires. Take it easy. You're clear low.
to go green. Yingling, McCann, roar down into turn number 1.
Turn number 1, and they're going to stay side by side. These drivers are going to also go down to the bottom, give each other space though. Not too on top of one another yet, as they're going to come out of the corner. Still 2x2, not getting single file yet. As you see the 9 now, he pulls up. The 32 still alongside the 74, Nick Crawford going in for the break.
And we are down to Larry Yingling and McCann to the track forward.
Dak Hall's dropping, so you know what he's doing.
Stats 2x2 on to be 3.
Check the other ones.
Kelly bounces it to the inside groove. Zach all stuck in the middle. Up
Okay.
It's going to be the 11 of John Force, and behind them they were 3 wide for a quick.
You said Nelson was also his teammate?
Nixon, Bob, and Gaudio getting a little.
Norris.
Norris, okay.
Lead lap number 1. Again, driver to watch out for. Benjamin Nelson starting in the back.
Yep, he's dropping off. He's dropping back also. He just got passed on the high side.
79 work his way forward because the last couple of times we've seen him back in traffic, it's been a troublesome spot at the 79.
Yeah, he's dropping also. He just lost 2 more going into 1.
Where he feels comfortable.
This is a playoff race, and
Slower drivers.
5 people get eliminated tonight, and the cutoff line is right behind me. So
He's definitely going to have to make sure he doesn't heat up these tires too much trying to pass these guys in the beginning.
I got to not get beat by the guys behind me.
Easy for these first couple laps, but he has moved up a little bit here from starting position.
Behind me in points, that is.
So able to get by.
Therian is one of them. Crawford is another one.
Want to risk burning up everything too.
I can't get beat by them.
Soon in this run, only being lap 3, maybe by lap 10, 15, expect to see him start getting hot, maybe one at a time.
Right now, you and the leader are pulling away.
Before we know it, I'm sure stand.
Certainly will. Another driver to watch out for just in front of the 79 to the 38 of Christopher Norris in 19th position, and Cody Reed in this 52. Both in similar situations, being multiple.
It can if it comes down to a fuel strategy. So some of those guys that we're talking about are running a 2-stop.
To the championship.
Right now, I'm going to be forced to go 3-stop.
Drivers having mistakes, such as the likes of Brian McCann or seeing Ken Campbell.
But I got so much speed tonight, I didn't want to risk it. It only takes 1 caution after lap 20
Cedric Hunter and Nick Crawford also
to nullify that.
race. So far, all the drivers that need to struggle for Christopher Norris and for Cody Reed running perfectly at this moment.
Saw a little twitch there out of Douglas Newbigin coming out of the corner. Just getting a little loose, but able to gather up, no problems really. But just a little small twitch. just luckily able to catch it. But look at right in front of him, 32 car. You're speaking about him last week getting that second place finish, almost had that win. If he got the win, he wouldn't have to worry about tonight. Right now, being stuck in the middle of the field, he's got to be super cautious. Doesn't want to risk having any issue there and giving up those early points. And as we mentioned him, you see right in front of Cedric Hunter, guy right there on the cutoff line. He needs to get all the points he can to move up throughout this night.
Big thing for Zach Paul, because of where some of these drivers are running currently. Paul can just finish in 15th, 14th, or 13th.
Faster than the leader, 3 of the last 5, and faster than the top 3 all the way through.
Automatically locked into the championship round. So for Zach Paul, that's going to be the mentality as well for Ryan Kelly in the 3. As long as Ryan Kelly finishes inside of our top 8, the 3 machine will be moving on automatically to the championship.
He probably can't get on the throttle like I can since I'm all over his spoiler here.
Drivers,
he's probably cussing me out right now.
Are looking
Right.
for in our beginning portions of this.
But we are still pulling away from the guys behind us.
Might actually be helping you out. A little bit of dirty air. Yes, you are.
Window. It's going to be very close. If
Are we just that much faster? Or is there another strategy we didn't think of?
turn this race into a 3-stop.
Because I feel good on my tires right now.
48 laps these drivers are going to be working with.
So that will be interesting.
Just get into your rhythm. Like I said, Yingling in
Race like you mentioned, commit to
practice, he was P19.
that clutch.
So he's probably pretty happy leading right now.
That throttle down straight away. But being about lap 8, I don't know if these drivers are thinking about it yet, but it is something that they want to keep in their back pocket, Sam, because look at this race now. It's not really too close. It's a little bit spread out, so that means less chance of caution. As you mentioned, no competition cautions.
And one driver going to be sitting in pit road for a long time. James Kaufman in the 25 machine was supposed to start in pit road for today's race, did not, and now is placed in a holding black flag penalty. He's just got finished with 40-second hold. The 25 is about to get back on track, but it's going to be starting this race off 2, maybe even 3 laps down. As 23 driver on the lead lap after that mishap by the 25. Going to leave us in a position where these drivers up front, and that's another point that kind of is taken away for the amount of drivers that are struggling at this moment to get their way moving forward. But Nick Crawford in the 74, currently in 8th place, you see on screen. Racing
Zach Hall is back to P17 and his
for these drivers, and again,
teammate is back to 21st.
It's so crucial, being 9 points out from the good. Now that's compared to Brian Kelly, 10 points off of Ken Campbell.
Loss of 12 and 16 spots, respectively.
For Nick Crawford, going to be a total of 13 points off of Brian P. Johnson. So there's a lot of work for Crawford if he wants to outpoint some of his competition that are out there on track.
Crawford's going to go from 8th to 10th in that corner. Those 2 guys are able to get around him on the outside, so we are seeing that second lane have some speed up there. Drivers are able to get up there and be able to pinch the cars down on the inside. As you see, the 74 can way low, giving all the room to the driver on the outside. As you mentioned, right now he's got points on his line, does not want to risk having any issue, giving drivers plenty of space, knowing it only is lap 12. There's still a lot that can happen. I think it's the late race restarts, a lot can happen. So biggest thing, Stan, you got to get there at the end of the race, have a chance. You got to be there, be on the lead lap, and have a chance to fight for that win.
Now going to be sliding himself up to 18th place in racing on ground lap track. Who's that of Benjamin Nelson? Here's another battle that's going on.
Hey, Kyle.
Position.
Not much. It's not hurting my tires. It's hurting his tires.
P3's not shutting it down or doing anything.
Playoffs, but
Neither is P4.
seen out.
P5, Shane.
It's going to automatically lock him into the
Checking now.
Sega knocked out after the first round, and now
Nope. None of them are clutching it or anything of the sort. They're just slower.
he's slotting
He wiggles one time and I'm going to pass him.
as possible, as one of our playoff drivers really struggling at this moment. Christopher Norris in the 38, back in 22nd position, racing with Ben Keeney, and these 2 drivers racing for the last driver on the lead lap. 10 seconds off, now almost 11 seconds off of Larry Yingling. And
But then he's going to be messing my rear tires up, so...
And nobody saw for practice. Christopher Norris was really off the pace by over about a half a second. But might be going with that different strategy we were talking about of maybe trying to turn this race into a 2-stop.
Probably better if I just backed off of it.
What you said, maybe he's just trying to, he is 11 seconds off. That could be hard to make up that time.
If you want to, yeah. You can definitely, back up a little bit. I mean, you're not racing this guy.
Well, you do get 1 point for
whether he
leading
wins
a
or
lap.
not does nothing for the...
Still save that little bit of gas each lap.
Okay. So they can get on by.
Got one outside.
In the 100 and then not pitting again after that. That could be a strategy that he has in his mind.
You are clear up.
He sees maybe the field getting a little bit.
Thank you, Kyle.
Chance of
Walmart special. There's an extra point.
Right now, and we're starting to see our first battle for the lead. It's going to be the 8 machine of Brian McCann sliding himself in front of Larry Yingling, and that's going to be a lap led for the 8. And this is a crucial lap to be led by Brian McCann. That bonus point now
Bonus point.
more of a buffer to work with, and now tying in points with Ken Campbell. As those drivers now will both be tied 4 points over Shane Terrian, and Terrian right now reigning in 5th, good position for the 9 machine, but this now puts Brian.
This car is glued to the track.
Now he can try to.
All right, Ken Campbell next in
let it and grab it.
next in point is back in P9, up 6 spots, but with that point you tie him.
Almost halfway through, not quite there yet, but his car really seems to just all of a sudden come to life. As you see, he's now gapped almost a 0.4 of a second lead over there. Just in a lap and a half there. Just seems like the car gets to the middle of the corner there, Sam. He's able to gas it up and point it, and the car sticks, and he's able to carry that momentum down these 2 straight ones.
Yeah, looking at some of the drivers on what their pace is looking like from the start of the race to now, a lot of
Hey, Doug, thanks.
them are putting down their fastest laps because I talked about how important tires are going to be here tonight. Some drivers already were protecting their tires immediately. As we take a look at the weather conditions coming into
So then P2 the last 5 laps, and that's why you're gapping them.
degrees, the track
Almost a second up already.
that's nice on the tires. Nice for these drivers have that little bit of extra grip. Wind isn't too bad, staying pretty low at 3 miles per hour. The humidity is only at 22%. But these drivers, you see all the way at the bottom, in sim time, 8 p.m. It's going to get darker and darker as this race progresses. Once it gets fully under,
Field's getting really spread out.
the lights are already clicked on. We'll see how much that track cools off and how much also that air temperature is going to cool off for the field.
You said there was only 2 doing the fuel strategy.
Way, but
That I saw, yeah.
here's the times. Justin, a lot of the field, majority of them in the middle of the field, look to still.
Ben Nelson is down 12. Zach Hall is down 13.
It's lap 20 here. We're expecting
And those are the biggest losers.
45, 48, maybe 50 laps. Still don't want to push it too hard, beating those tires up and then struggling, especially with how this track could just be a little bit abrasive.
Those guys right now are 1st and 2nd. You're worried about everybody else around you.
Off, sun going down, that should help tire wear. But
As far as points go, anyway.
to get that second set of tires on, don't really know what the track is going to hit. Be thrown at them with the temperatures coming down ever so slightly. Plus, it'll rubber up a little bit, which should help tire.
Running on board with the 15.
1.4 over P2 and scooting away.
The Fonseca in this position is so crucial because now this puts Ken Campbell going to be just 2 positions off of Shane Terrian. And that's going to force Shane Terrian to have to gain a couple of more spots to get ahead of the 15. Because all the drivers, I'm looking at the drivers that came in tonight inside of our top 6. It's Benjamin Nelson, who's already locked in, Zach Paul, Ryan Kelly, Brian P. Johnson, Ken Campbell, and Brian McCann. Majority of those drivers.
Man, Ben Nelson is at the 1 o'clock position on the wheel on the straightaways.
The driver I'm concerned about is Zach Hall down in 19th position. Currently, where these drivers run, Zach Hall actually is right on the cusp of finding himself being bumped out if the race was to finish right now. So this 32 backing off his pace back in 19th position, but how much is he going to be worried about if this race continues to go green? Because the last 2 times they ran at this course, they've only had 1 caution. That was back in season 3. Back in season 6 when they ran this race, 0 cautions were thrown. So got to be careful because this race does traditionally have a low caution count.
I think that is very concerning for Zach Paul. He qualified really well up front. He dropped really quick through the field. Maybe he just didn't want to get back there and maybe not get caught up in an accident.
Has anybody changed their line behind me?
Time up
No, I was actually just looking at that. I muted you for a second.
time back up. The field's really getting spread
No,
out.
not at all.
Back there.
And I was just looking at Ben Nelson. He's not clutching it. He's not shutting it down. He's not doing anything like that. I don't know if he doesn't have it mapped or what, but if he's trying to save any fuel and he's dropped that many spots already, he might be having problems.
7 seconds. It wasn't long ago that he was over 10 seconds, Sam, and he's passing cars and still the game.
He might just be out there driving one hand drinking.
Have to be watching. This race stays good. I still think he has a chance.
Because he's in. He won last week.
Bring that information to the viewers tonight.
Yeah, Benjamin Nelson, also Anthony Gaudio, both some of the fastest drivers on track currently, but they're in the middle of the field trying to gain this position back for themselves. But they're running both.
Looks like Benny Kinney retired, or something happened with him.
For Benjamin Nelson, running about 2 to 3 tenths faster than our leaders, so trying to gain all this track time back as much as
All right, up two seconds over P2.
of the night. Ben Keeney has called it an evening for the 98 machine. Just didn't feel comfortable out there on track around lap 22. Got loose.
Lights are coming on the track, but so far, sir, you are lights out.
For the 98, we get to see that for Ben. Hopefully, we'll be seeing it next week as drivers go to Kansas. As starting to see a little bit more movement all around. Brian McCann up to 2 seconds, leading over Brian Johnson. As the movement and battling for second place is getting pretty solidified as Larry Yingling is.
You really have to drive this car with the throttle.
It's going to be this 52 Cody Reed trying to make his way forward.
Well, we saw that with your right rear in practice.
6 positions, and that's 6 crucial points. But like you mentioned, the Ben Keeney dropping out, that's one less driver out there to potentially get around anyone who does have problems. So maybe not exactly what Cody Reed was hoping for. He might have been hoping for everyone to stay out here and complete all those laps. And then if someone did have trouble, that would be spots that he could definitely make up, maybe lose those points. But right now, one driver 3 laps down and another driver out for the race. That does change the way the points will fall in those resets.
Yeah, especially for Cody Reed, because of the fact that Brian McCann's up front, he's already led up the lap and got that bonus point. Now the gap's grown to 18 seconds is the difference between Cody Reed.
Tail end of the field is in the middle of the backstretch as you come across the start stripe, so half a lap away.
Bubble spot and trying to move forward as quickly as possible as Reed placed himself in a good spot. And for Cody, I talked to him earlier this week and talking about the point situation coming into this race, and he felt like tonight was going to be practically a must-win scenario if Cody was going to make it to the championship 6. And here tonight, I think he's trying to still run.
You are faster of the top 3, sir.
A win. Let's take a look at the driver of the 63 machine, Bryson Hicksenbach, just outside of our top 5, as he's watching a great battle between Shane Terrian and John Forbes Jr. right against one another. And it's the 9 machine. He's pushing forward, and this is exactly what Shane needs to do. Gain these positions while Ken Campbell is going backwards.
It's second place for 6th place battle.
Shane's pushing as he always does.
5 cars. Pretty interesting that Brian McCann, though, he was able to get it up to 2.3 second lead once he got around Larry Yingling, who now was passed by Brian P. Johnson, too. So these 3 guys right here, as you see the 9 get a little sideways coming out of the corner, lap 30, the tires are starting to definitely show signs of wear. So you see the 9, he came out of the corner, but he's going to charge back into turn 3 here and try and get under the 11. And they're going to go 3 wide coming through the corner. This is going to be an interesting exit.
3 wide for 3rd place, and it's going to be seeing John Forbes who will slide past Larry Yingling. Yingling's just going to continue to watch these 2, Shane Terrian and the 11 of John Forbes, continue their battle.
Shane Terrian's up to P3.
For another lap, as Shane Terrian trying to slide job his way past the 11 and just drifts up. And Terrian will move into 3rd in a blink of an eye. From 6th to 3rd in just about 4 laps. Terrian is cruising right now in the 9 machine and now has a sight set on Brian P. Johnson. And looking at these drivers, the pace that we're seeing right now, our leader rate at this moment of Brian McCann, let alone everyone else in the field, is running a much slower than the 8 machine at this moment. McCann's running about a second and a half, a little bit over a second and a half slower than his fastest lap that he put down earlier in the race. So these drivers already feeling that major drop off. And Justin, that's giving me signs that we might be seeing this field just automatically switch to that 3-stop strategy.
If they definitely want to get that front number, get her and gain that time, if they can gain a second and a half a lap, the 3 pit stops might make up for the
No comp cautions.
All right, but
That's
you
what
were
we're
in the
going with.
31s up until lap 13.
drivers have to be doing that math.
You switched to the 32s since then,
Now we're down the straight.
working or coming to lap 32.
Calculators.
So you're looking pretty strong.
I've seen if they be able to gain that time back on the fresh tires. It'll be interesting. It's going to really
That right rear is not strong, though.
if people start coming into pits around 40, 80, 120, then we know they're going to be doing that.
How many more laps I got?
When those get to 50, we would expect to see them at 100, and that'd be it for the rest of the race.
Again, the fuel window we were given was around 45 to 48. They came
9.
a little bit further.
9, good.
We were focusing
If
I don't know
you,
if
if
I
you come in on 42 as you did before, you
No, no,
you have almost 13 in the tank though.
use up these tires a lot.
38.
If you're wanting to gain track position, pitting sooner than later.
38. All right.
as we watch the battle up for
That cuts it into 3.
Fonseca, and it's close.
Get you.
Ollie Fonseca breaking slightly loose off
Yeah.
to the corner.
All right, I'll get you all set up.
Setting his sights on how do you get by this great duel between the 24 and the 15, and for Ken Campbell,
All I got to do is not blow pit lane like I do half the time.
season, and now find himself with a chance to make the championship 6.
You had a good practice earlier. You'll be fine.
Justin, we haven't really talked a lot about Ken Campbell because he's ran practically perfect races of keeping himself
All right, you're all set.
high enough in the field that he's just consistently grabbing so many points compared to the other drivers that maybe are running faster week in and week out, but they can't find that consistency at the end of the race.
I literally cannot take my eyes off the screen.
Maybe hasn't gotten as much appreciation and airtime from exactly what
No
we've
doubt.
seen on track because he's been so under the radar.
I can't even blink.
Causing issues. Never really see him lead
Except for the straightaway on the backstretch here.
plays and accidents. He's just getting the points done. He needs to do keeps finishing solid. He has that like Matt Kenseth type mentality of just finishing the race strong, being there at the end, and eventually that's going to pay off. Where he's going to find himself in victory lane, not once or twice, but multiple times. If he's able to keep being up front throughout these races, eventually he's just going to have a chance, and he's going to put together that big package.
Call out 38 for me.
And for Ken Campbell,
All right, Brian Johnson's worked his way to P2, 2.1 behind you.
working with just 4 points coming into this night over Shane Terrian, and Terrian in 3rd and Campbell back in 8th. That's just enough for Terrian to bump out Campbell out of the playoffs and no longer run for a championship, as the next round is our championship 6 for this field. So every point so crucial here.
How's that 3D printing going, Kyle? I've been keeping up with your page on Facebook.
Now is Mr. Dominant up front, but he is slowly being caught by Brian P. Johnson in the 28, as his 8 has built out such a gap. Might be a big enough gap that he can hold this lead until
Are you going one more and then coming in?
That would be really big for Brian McCann if he's able to lead any extra.
Yeah, let's see what they do.
Big chance
All
to
right.
potentially lead the most laps and get that extra crucial bonus point. But as you mentioned, it was about 2.4 seconds for Brian P. Johnson. Is now around that 2
But yeah, we're planning on this lap.
08.
Okay.
So if Brian P. Johnson,
Yep, they're coming in.
put more pressure on him and maybe get around him before the pit stops
Therian and Hicks and Bob both just hit pit road.
for certain. But right now,
All right,
still
pit.
around 2.0 seconds off of Brian McCann.
and Brian
All
tonight.
right, watch your brake bias.
Of 7 points over Shane Terrian as a large group of drivers hitting pit road. Anthony Gaudio, Cody Reed, Bryson Hicksonball, and Shane Terrian all hit pit road together. And Shane Terrian, I love this call by the 9 to hit pit road. And I love it.
Good entrance.
Cody Reed hitting this pit stop, trying to pit earlier, grab that track position. And now for those drivers,
Nobody with you behind so far.
and hoping that this pit cycle
The rest of the field went by.
until they're completely done, as our leader of Brian McCann now hits pit road as they go 3 wide of Wade, Hall, and the lap car pop into the outside wall.
Wow, so this is really getting interesting now, Sam. This changes everything. You got
Good
the
job.
leader pitting early. He's definitely going to be on 3 stops. All these guys that are pitting, they're going to be pitting 3 times total tonight, 2 more times from now. But other drivers, will they try and get to that magic number 50 and then get to 100 and man, make it on 2
All right, come. Don't speed.
They open it up. If this race stays green, it'll throw interesting information out there all night on who's going to be able to be first and second at the end of the
You're going to have some cars on the outside. Watch the blend line.
Awesome strategy to call now. Now that we know that some of this field is deciding on definitely doing that 3-stop strategy.
Sarton, Nelson, and also
You got one outside clear.
those 3 going to be the next mixture. We still have about half the field needing to make a decision of when do you want to hit pit road. And you got to also remember, there's a large
Watch cold tires.
drivers that really gave up over 5 to 10 seconds over our leaders.
Ken Campbell's on pit road, pitting from P6, so he did not lead a lap.
And you have to be also careful making your call out that you're entering pit road. Ken Campbell entering pit road for himself, and a few others joining in with Wade, Christopher Wade following in suit, and a couple of others continue to figure out how to get back out on track. But you also saw there, getting on track is going to be just as difficult as getting into pit road. That is not a very safe pit exit that these drivers are dealing with.
So Ken abandoned his 2-stop.
Sit to the apron and then back on the racing surface. It is very narrow, and one small mistake could cost.
Ooh, I almost hit that wall not paying attention.
Sure, especially with the speed difference. If you come in
Yes, sir. A little close.
I clinched.
difference in speed, that could really be something that would change up quick. That could throw
You're wearing your brown pants is what you're saying.
drivers. playing out. But look at Larry Yingling being way high up in that corner, missing that spot there. That's going to really give Brian P. Johnson a chance to get down here on this back straight.
All right, you're the first car 1 lap down right now.
Those older tires, you're seeing the difference. Brian P. Johnson going to cut it down to the bottom, just turn. You can see how those fresh tires just really give him a chance to have no inabilities to pass.
Last car in the lead lap. There you go.
Right here now with Brian.
Race Labs is the overlays.
You're feeling like Superman out there with fresh tires. Just
They're customized though.
like to make. And now with being 43 laps in this run, again, still some drivers might be thinking.
I did a lot of fancy work with Photoshop.
Majority are still out on track, which is
whatever you call it.
11. They're all aiming for hitting that halfway marker and changing up the strategy of trying to cut down on a pit stop and pit around lap 50 to 51. 51, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable than pitting on lap 50. But all these drivers, it seems to be in their mind, stretch the fuel out as long as possible.
That's just going to be really great to see how these drivers are able to do that. Sam, you mentioned about some of these guys that from the beginning gave up 5, 10, 12 seconds on time. But if you do that on the next one, that's 20.
All right, thanks, Derek.
If you do it the second time, and then not to mention, you're out there on older tires. These other drivers are going to be so much further ahead once these drivers that didn't pit yet do pit. They're really giving up a ton of track time out there, like you said, maybe a second and a half a lap. Now they will have the fresh tires by 10.
Forbes is on pit road.
Go into pit, but that's something they're going to really have to manage. If you do a 2-stop race, you still don't want to be about 30 or 40 seconds back, because that might give the driver enough time to get down pit road and make that extra stop and then gain it back with new tires.
Well, also the drivers that are, aiming for stretching out their fuel as long as possible. We've seen this the last couple of weeks of, a late caution in a pit cycle can change things dramatically on your track position. Seen a lot at our second, usually our last pit stop, there's a late caution that can pop up and stay out as long as possible and help you out with your track position. I think a lot of these drivers might be thinking about maybe later on in this race how they want to set themselves up as more drivers hit pit road. Ollie Fonseca going to make his stop, as well as John Forbes has made his stop, leaving us with 9 drivers yet to pit so far, and we are now inside the window we were given of 45 to 48 laps for fuel was the window of how far you could stretch.
When it all cycles back through, you'll take the lead back with chain theory and about 2 seconds behind you.
And now we're in that window of, did you save enough or did you start saving too late? That's another thing that can kind of...
Can you call out my right side tires?
Doing the strategy of how to save the maximum amount of fuel, sometimes they make that too late and they can't even make it to that number that we've been circling.
And you would not want to be one of those drivers that only gets about 40.
58 even.
And has to pit. And then you're on old tires, plus you still have to do the third stop. Definitely not a strategy.
Say what? 58?
Work out for you at all. You would be giving up the old
58,
no,
yes,
wait.
sir.
No way, front and back.
So these drivers right now who stayed out, they want to get to 50, 50.
Front and back.
To feel good.
Damn, it sure didn't feel like 58.
I'll take a screenshot and send it to you.
Really confident.
You took it easy in the beginning, staying behind Yingling.
Challenging with Cedric Hunter. These drivers.
I was thinking 40s, 30s.
Yeah, these are 2 drivers that are...
That's interesting.
Also, I think Douglas Newbegin.
What was the heat on them?
Those drivers were really focusing on staying in the back and kind of were saving their fuel, saving their tires, not trying to be too aggressive.
250, 269.
Position where they're aiming to get lap 51 marker as the field has now entered into what we would call no man's land. This is where you've saved the fuel. Did you save enough?
Or setup's pretty sketchy first few laps, but after that it settles in pretty good.
Seeing the drivers on fresh rubber just ripping the top. Some going to be dashing low, utilizing the rubber to gain all their track position and time.
There's people ripping the top? No, that's slow.
Looking at drivers that haven't hit yet and those that have, we're about to see a pass actually being made here shortly as Christopher Norris and Cedric Hunter continue to duel back and forth just around they're about to be their pit window as we're now 50 laps in, and a lot of these drivers have made it to that window they were looking for, expecting a lot of pit stops on this lap and the next. But for James Heater and Brian McCann, they're about to be making a pass of McCann catching up to a driver that's yet to pit it so far tonight.
Wow, so that would definitely change everything. That really shows you how much new
All right, Kelly, Crawford, and Yingling going down pit road.
Field. But Sam, lap 50, Brian Kelly, he's hitting pits now. Nick Crawford,
that's going to put you up to P5.
Stay out and get that lap led.
Thank you, Kyle.
Stay out and get an extra bonus point for leading a lap. But Nick Crawford,
I was going to say something, but
pit. with Ryan.
I shut my mouth.
Big for playoff.
I was like, I just let him.
Was not-
I just let it be at that. But and then you come out and say it anyway.
Grab and staying out for another extra lap. Zach Hall, Cedric Hunter, Christopher Norris, and Douglas Newbigin going to be the 4 drivers that were able to make it to the start.
Zach Hall's fitting.
52, and this is going to enable these drivers to have a little bit more of less saving on their mind moving forward, but staying out an extra lap. Cedric Hunter and Christopher Norris, this is great for Hunter. This puts him in a better spot looking in the points, making things a little bit more reasonable throughout the rest of this race for the 13, but now he may need that caution to kind of salvage his track position at this time if you're Hunter and Norris.
All right, those guys that just waited to go down pit road on lap 50 or 51,
down to the bottom.
you were about ready to lap them in a few more laps. So you go through 2 more pit stops rather, or pit runs,
Stay out.
fuel runs.
Still going to do another.
You're going to pass them and they're going to have to lap you back. So I think you're sitting really good.
This is incredible. We were given a window of 45 to 48 laps. We thought maybe they could save 2 to 3 extra laps, just make it to that 51 marker. And we've now seen Cedric Hunter stay out until lap 53. That'd be the start of lap 54. And Hunter is going to be forced into pit road either this lap or the next. He cannot go any further. But as you're seeing the
Nick Crawford's somebody I'm racing too.
out for another lap, and big thing to watch out for is going to be that middle section
I'm watching for him. But the 13 still has to pit Cedric Hunter.
before he even enters the corner. This is looking like
He's P8 in points, so you're good there.
back in the old Atlanta days of some massive saving by the 13.
Wow, going to stretch it past lap 54 here. I would think he's got to be coming in shortly. And
67 low.
exactly as his strategy is now, he'll be
He's
able
all the way down the line.
10, which means he'll have a 40-lap shoot.
Left front.
He's now going to back it down, Sam. Get it down in there. Get under pit road speed limit. Get in there. Get the
Clear.
full fresh tires and the all-important fuel.
I mean, it's incredible that he made it that far, but the amount of time that was lost for Cedric Hunter, that last lap that he just put down, a 33.7 second time. That is a full 1.5 seconds.
All right, back in P1.
And at moments, 2.5 seconds slower than McCann. And McCann was about to pass Cedric Hunter before he even went into pit road. How long the 13 stayed out there, I don't like that call. There's too much time he's giving up by staying out, even though it's brilliant how much time that he was able to stay out on track.
Zach Hall on your right rear.
Drivers that can save the most fuel if they
He's trying to get his lap back.
race. But how much time did he give up? Like you mentioned, going to be almost nearly a lap down. That there actually is showing now as a lap down. So that if a caution was to come out now, that would really kind of ruin that strategy.
Can you click off my spotter?
Or the
Absolutely. My bad.
You see Brian McCann right here, our leader, able to
Oh, you're good.
3.8 second lead over Shane.
Ooh, thunder's rolling.
This is Zach Hall and Larry Yingling, drivers that are right in front of him.
I mean, so close to one another. Hall will get his lap back. But for us, we do have to give a quick shout out to the amazing sponsor, who's also a race sponsor tonight. That's Trophy Smack. TrophySmack.com is your place to go if you'd like to be getting yourself some great championship apparel, such as a championship ring, a belt, a championship trophy, and more. All can be found at TrophySmack.com. Go on over to their website. You can see there are plenty of pre-made trophies, and you can customize them to your own liking. And when purchasing your
Hopefully I don't lose power here, Brian. Got a pretty bad thunderstorm overhead. But
our Smack
10-4.
off. Thank you so much to Trophy Smack for being one of the bigger sponsors here for the WSSR Roast of Gems Cup Series. And for these drivers, pit cycle has completed for their first attempts at pit stops. But for us, we're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, it's going to be second round of pit stops. For those that are aiming for the 3 stop, they're going to get ready for some more racing action at Trophy Smack 225. But it's so far clean and green. We'll see if they can continue with that on the last race of the round of 11. We'll be back right after this.
all right, coming to lap 60, 16 or 17 laps if you decide you want to pit on the same lap coming around.
Say that again, sorry.
You're coming to lap 60, so you have 16 or 17 laps if you want to pit on the same number this time.
10-4.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
Unfortunately, I'm in a private one, Kyle.
Hey, this is Benjamin Nelson, your Season 7 WSSR Cup champion. I'd like to give a thanks to Roasted Jim's Coffee,
But thank you.
Matt, all the admins at WSSR, Snowy Desert Racing, everybody that tunes in to the Freaky Fast broadcast every week, including my family and friends, co-workers as well. And I am so honored to be able to hoist this beautiful trophy. I've never been more proud to be a champion.
Well, even if I get knocked
Just
out
about
of the
4.5
playoffs,
over P2, Brian Johnson.
even if I get knocked off, I can say I was the fastest car out here. I got you, Derek. Would be good. Not a lot of action on the track anyway. We're just out here riding in P1
Try it.
with a slight chance of people beating us on fuel strategy here.
I don't think it's going to work like that. I think they're going to have to get their lap back.
Yeah, but they'll have new tires and they might be able to come around me before the checker. I know what you're saying because they're going to come out behind me next time.
Yep. Actually, in P2, 3 of the last 5 laps, the 2 that he was faster was just by a couple hundredths. Still 4.2.
You got one inside. Stay high. Stay high.
13's coming up on new tires also. He's at your left front.
All clear, all clear.
Talk about cutting the nose.
It's going to say I'm losing the right front, but I'm in a draft, so
10 more laps, sir.
forgot about that. Got to readjust here a little bit.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Wednesday night.
Lost my downforce, and I got a guy taking air off my spoiler.
It's the Gems Cup Series, the Season 8 playoffs underway. Tonight's the last race of the round of 11 before we get cut it from 11 drivers to 6 that will be part of our championship round. They'll race the last 2 races of the season to see who can grab the most points and take the Season 8.
18 coming up.
One driver's off already.
He's going to go ahead and throw it in the bottom.
Championship
Yeah, one
round
inside.
being Benjamin Nelson after his
Inside.
Still there.
at Iowa. Tonight,
Clear up.
Clear low.
strategy is all awry tonight as we are trying to figure out who has the best strategy. So far, the race has been clean and green. We've had one pit cycle already go through with drivers aiming for a 3-stop strategy, some going for a 2-stop strategy, and we're still trying to figure out which one would be the winning strategy at this moment. Brian McCann leads the way, but
77 coming up inside.
us here on Freaky
Still
Fast
there.
Broadcasting. My name
Clear
is Sam
low, clear
Dyer.
low.
With me is Justin Malarkey. And
Yeah,
Justin,
one inside.
we talked about it
Inside.
during that
Stay
commercial
high.
break.
There's the car on
Brian
the low
McCann
side.
looks to be in the favorable position for strategies.
high.
And the drivers that went for the 2 stops, they just look
77 still there, left rear.
they're going to do their best to gain all that time back.
We do feel
All
confident. Brian
clear, all
McCann
clear.
looking
Inside.
like
Throwing it in.
great shape. Just
Stay
obviously
high.
has
You're just
tremendous
on the low
speed.
side.
Every time we look up, it seems
Clear
like he
low,
has a
clear
bigger
low.
lead.
Clear.
You slowly close on him. By the time they close on him, he's pitting, getting those fresh tires, pulling away, and able to maintain that distance. He's really got that car.
3.5 back to Johnson.
But like you mentioned, these drivers on two pit stops.
Pitting in 6 or 7 laps.
Two stops.
Setting you up now.
We feel confident that might have a chance would be Ryan Kelly. He had it about 20.5 second lead. It's down that he was behind the leader. It's now 16.6 seconds. But the problem is, Brian McCann's going to be pitting really shortly here. We're probably expecting to see him pit around lap 80. So he's going to get those fresh tires and then start gaining all that ground back for eventually for when Ryan Kelly makes his pit stop around lap 100. We're expecting. So it's something we're going to keep an eye on. Will Ryan Kelly's two stop be able to?
All right, sir, you're all set.
Brian McCann.
Also, other drivers of note to watch out for: Shane Terrian, Bryson Hickson-Baugh. Those were the drivers that were part of the first group that pitted. Also, the other drivers part of that group, 12th place. Cody
What lap am I aiming for again?
scenario coming into tonight's race, all hoping for a good
76 or 77.
52. Trying his best this
The
far
broadcast thinks you're coming in on 80.
to gain every position possible, and you know it looks to be for Cody the extreme.
Well, 76. Which one would be 38 laps on the track?
Still
Nick
there?
Crawford starting to close in on the gap. Crawford, one of those drivers that was aiming for the one stop,
Say that again.
for the two stop strategy here.
76 or 77. Which one is 38 laps on the track?
70. Yeah, 76. Yeah.
Let's go around, but
Yeah, 76.
Okay.
9 points out of our top 6, so needed a good run was Crawford if you wanted to make our championship round as he races with Cody Reed through 3 and 4. These two drivers expect to see some great racing action between the two of them on Monday nights as the ISRC Truck Series is back to coverage this upcoming Monday as they took a week off. This most recent Monday for themselves as see Crawford make that pass, now getting slotted up to 12th and moving forward. Other drivers trying to move forward and now moved up to 9th place. Ryan Kelly, the gap a lot closer than I think I was expecting it to be, but now down to just 14, a little bit less than 15 seconds is the 3. He's closing in the gap, Justin, but not in a rate that's going to be needed if he's going to find himself in victory lane. But again, he's trying to cut a pit stop out of this strategy compared to the 8 that's going to have to pit twice. So Kelly's going to be the closest, like you mentioned, but he's got a lot of work if he wants.
Darian and Hickson-Baugh coming down pit road.
Better than the 8 machine who's looked like the dominant driver from the drop in the green.
How far back are they?
To make up, but like we mentioned, he is slowly
Or were they?
making that back.
They were.
Brian McCann's going to be hitting pit road
Yeah.
along with the rest of the top. So that's going to be hard for the 3.
Not 100% sure. I wasn't watching them.
To see how this,
They just showed up on my.
how much can the 3
alerts.
save and still be fast at the same time and
It's
not
all good.
really that speed? Will he be able
We're coming in this time.
that lane, or will one of his drivers in the top 3 positions now be able to maybe
You're all set.
McCann and get that strategy going? But like you mentioned, it's going to be
Don't forget to adjust your brake bias if you made any changes.
those 2 strategies. How about Cedric Hunter in that 3rd strategy? He's going to be a driver that's probably going to pit at lap 110. So if the caution does come out, he at least is hoping that it comes out before lap 110, and he would definitely be the race leaders. We would expect everyone to pit as we do have pit stops here. 63 to 9 going to race battle coming out of the pits. Is look at 63 was really close there, Sam, being above that yellow line. Something that you don't want to get a penalty for.
Good job,
You
sir.
do not, and you can see there on this shot how narrow the
Ben Nelson's coming with you,
is. It is a
and so is Ken
All
Campbell.
right, man. Halfway. this
basically
time
gone.
out.
You have to stay below that yellow line. If you cross over the yellow line before you hit the backstretch, you will be penalized. It's now Brian McCann who makes his stop
Right here.
in the pit road. But Shane Terrian, Bryson Hickson-Baugh, they are the start.
Are you off my spotter in case you lose power?
For round number 2 for the drivers that are aiming for
I
a
am.
3-stop strategy. Those that are going for a 2-stop strategy around lap 100 to 110
All right, that's
is
it.
their
Go.
window. If they're
All right, come.
this group,
Max speed, don't speed.
Pit stop, and then maybe think about their last stop around 110 to 120 will be their last go.
All right, watch the blend line.
Move around to Cedric Hunter, talking about a very gutsy call. The driver that took it the longest out of anybody.
You're going to be
Why? He was
clear coming up.
at the end of that run. He's been out there for Cedric Hunter for 20 laps now out on track.
Good pit, sir.
Hop on board and take a look. Is he clutching even this early on into a run? Again, watch out for that big circle. That's your RPM gauge. Cedric's been clutching, and he is already clutching.
Cold tires.
In the run. Looks like he's going for a similar strategy of trying to save massive amounts of fuel to stay out close to around the time that we're going to be seeing a lot of the other drivers, such as Brian McCann, Shane Terrian, make their final pit stop of the race.
Got one
That would be
outside.
very interesting.
If caution should fly, you're the first car one lap down.
For his final pit stop, the same time as we're expecting Brian McCann to come back in and the rest of the leaders around 110. It'll be really interesting. Will Cedric Hunter be able to stay in front of him? Does he have something figured out that we can't figure out? Is his math different than what we're thinking up here? I can't wait to see what happens around lap 110, just to see if the strategy plays out. And if it does, it'd be amazing to talk to Cedric Hunter and see what he was thinking from the beginning of this race.
Well, I'm trying to figure out for Cedric's plan, because everyone else is going for the two-stop strategy. Again, they're aiming, the majority of them pitted around lap 50 to 53 was their window, or those that were solidified in the
All right, we're looking for 114 for the next stop.
56. And each lap you stay out longer than everyone else, you're giving up full 2 seconds, sometimes 3 seconds over the rest of your competition, that fresh rubber. And Cedric's not getting that advantage that we're seeing other drivers that went for the two-stop on using their tires more efficiently, because Cedric's on older tires so much longer than everyone else. He's just giving up more time, and he's going to be caught. This strategy, the only thing I'm thinking about is Cedric's thinking, I'm going to stay on track, be on the lead lap longer than everyone else, so if there is a caution, at least I'm on the lead lap. That is the only thing I could imagine Cedric's thinking in this strategy, because if it's a winning call, this isn't it.
And that could be it. If the caution does come out, like you mentioned, he's on the lead lap and he would have that track position. And it would also trap potentially some other drivers a lap down who didn't get back around some leaders.
Clear up.
Something that he could be going for. You never know. You get those late race cautions. Maybe he has a feeling that this race will get a little more chaotic as it goes. Right now, it's so spread out that we're just not anticipating a caution, but you never know. It would take one driver to get loose to see the battle on screen right here between the 67 and the 32. Those are two drivers, two-stop strategy.
As we're seeing Larry Yangling, Zach Hall, fifth place, battling, and Hall, who's again one of those drivers on the two-stop strategies. Just one lap fresher tires than Larry Yangling. I think for Hall this go around, being a little bit more aggressive on trying to take these passes.
Can you call the tires out again?
Lose too much time in the competition, because
Sure can.
McCann, crazy to think of it, McCann just pitted 5 laps ago.
59, 58, 274, 270.
Less than 10 seconds off of Zach Hall. So in the next, I would say, 10 to 15 laps, Brian McCann might be passing these drivers right when they're thinking about making their pit stop to make their final pit stop of the day.
Would be really close when that happens. Like you said, 10 seconds, but at the rate of speed that they're closing in on these guys right here,
Oh, about right, man.
they'll be right around each other when they're starting to make their final pit stop at lap 100. Before Brian McCann, we expect him to be back in at like 110, maybe 115, depending on how far he wants to stretch it. It'll be interesting to see what happens. The thing is, those drivers will have a little bit older tires, so they'll have to hold off to fresh tires at the gate if he does pit about 5 to 7 laps later than what we're expecting to see the 32 to 67 and those guys that are on similar conditions to that. But right now, Brian McCann, you see him on screen.
That sounds good. I'm in good shape, man. I believe I'm the fastest car on the track.
So he's in 12th position, running 12, starting 23rd. He's up a lot of positions there.
Sounds like a good night.
If he's able to gain on those spots.
What could go wrong?
Yes, it does.
James Heater both just got passed by Brian McCann, and both they're about to be passed here, even by Shane Terrian and the likes of Brad P. Johnson. The drivers that have already made their pit stops are passing those that are in for the two stops. We're already
Back in P10.
a massive swing on who's going to be in the better position.
Everybody in front of you will be looking pretty soon, between 45 and 50, so 95 and
out for, but
100.
based off of what we're kind of theorizing on where drivers are placed right now, where the math is kind of adding up all the different strategies, the time to up to time to gain. Brian McCann right now looking to be the top driver to watch out for is McCann, now setting up to get by Douglas Newbigging and just continuing to make a march forward. McCann in the top 10. Still one more pit stop left for the whole entire field. And McCann is already closing in quickly, but
Inside.
still looking at drivers that need to make their final pit
All clear,
stops.
all
John
clear.
Forbes
You're gaining on
and
the car
Ollie
in front.
Fonseca
We got
that are inside of our top 3.
1.4
Those two
seconds.
drivers, they pitted slightly sooner than the window of making this race into a two-stop strategy. They were just outside of that window, pitting sooner than lap 50. So the 11 and the 24, curious on the amount of fuel that they've saved up and trying to get back on the strategy of everyone else that's still aiming for the two-stop.
Yingling is the next car, 2 seconds ahead.
Stop at the pit road.
And you know what else makes this race so interesting with these different strategies is it's not only just about the time that you save on pit road by doing 1, 2 stops or 3 stops or how much time you gain on the fresh tires. It's also how do you navigate through this traffic when you are on those new tires? Are you able to get through the traffic, pass them on a straightaway versus getting held up in the corner and maybe slowing down your lap? Because when you're on the fresh tires, it's hard to get around the guys that even though you have all that extra speed, if you don't catch them in the right spot, it could really hurt your momentum. And then the same thing when you're on older tires. How do you let these guys on faster tires get by you? Hope they catch you on the straightaway, pull alongside you and go by you. But if they get you in the corner and then you've got to run
Leader's last lap was a 32.9, yours was a 31.6.
so you're running another 3, 4, 5 tenths slower that lap, and you repeat that by 5 or 10 laps, and before you know it, that might be the difference on getting a winning strategy versus ending up in 4th and 5th.
So fun to watch these drivers making their
Forbes and Fonseca going down pit road,
Ollie Fonseca. They were not able to make it
putting you in P4.
window of maybe lap 95. Instead, they pit here on lap 90 as Brian McCann with the pit stops that just remain now slots the 8 into 4th place. See his driver cam focused, is steady, and I've had his driver cam up on my side camera. This has been the face Brian McCann has had all race long. It has been focused, determined, and Justin, I don't know how many long green flag races you've been a part of going caution free, but Brian McCann's got a couple of strategies in of different leagues that I've seen him run, green flag runs. This is exactly the way he does it every time. Straight face, hits his marks, and staying focused at all times.
Got the face of a winner right now tonight. I love long green flag runs. I think Brian McCann's going to be a big fan of that. Hopefully we'll get to talk to him later and get his opinion on that. But nothing like a nice long green flag run for a driver. You're able to kind of clear your mind and focus in on your strategy. You don't got to worry about that caution maybe coming out and changing everything. But you never know when that caution...
Kelly and Crawford were both on pit road last on lap 50, so you should see him in about 8 laps.
But he's doing what he needs to right now. We mentioned it, though. He caught Zach Hall before the pit stop, so he was able to make up that difference in time and now pull away from Zach Hall, a guy who's definitely going to be pitting here shortly in about 7 to 8 laps. We're expecting to see the 32 machine hit pit road. So Brian McCann was able to get around one of those guys on a different strategy. So now it'll be how do they hit these pit stops and how much time are they able to save and get in there and get those fresh tires on as fast as they can.
Are you willing to make the big moves that might cost you later on? Brian McCann still searching for a win for himself in this series. He's finished second once. That was back earlier in the season at Pocono. Hoping to get himself in victory lane here tonight is Brian McCann. Other drivers that open for a win but may need some luck on their side. Nick Crawford in 2nd place. Driver that's had success here in the past. Got the pole back in season 1 at this racetrack, but back when they were running the Gen 6 Cup car. Now here in the Gen 4, very different car. To tip really these racetracks over the time span of all the way back in 2020 to 2024.
24 is going to be looking inside.
Some of the iRacing updates, but it's always cool to see drivers that have had past success, trying to carry it over years later at a track that's changed so much.
It's about carrying over that success, especially when these tracks change.
Kelly and Crawford about 3 seconds ahead.
These updates and battle them. But right now, seeing Nick Crawford on screen, he's in 2nd position. Nick Crawford's got to be thinking, I just am hoping Ryan Kelly gets a lap before I have to hit pit road so I can get that lap letter. You have to remember, the first time around, Ryan Kelly pitted.
Clear.
74 followed, and he wasn't able to run any longer out there with his fuel strategy. Didn't feel confident pushing for that extra lap. Was not able to get that one bonus point. Let that come down. At the end of this race, he could come down at one point. It wasn't too long ago, we had a 3-way tie, and every point matters. So if the 74 is able to lead the lap here, we're going to find out shortly if he's able to lead 1 lap, and Ryan Kelly pits before.
Ryan Kelly still out on track, but for Nick Crawford, that lap lead, it's gone. As Brian McCann has now made the pass to slot himself into second place. Kelly just 2.7 seconds ahead of, oh, what a save from Ollie Fonseca, just drifting his way out of turn 2 for the 24. But seeing Ryan Kelly, he's trying to hit his marks. And again, lap 101.
You've got everybody from 20th on back, one lap down or more.
Kelly, he is strictly looking at coming in either at lap 100, heading into 100 and lap 101, or on lap 101, carrying over to lap 102. Kelly is closing in on his pit window, but certainly a caution would not be the worst thing in the world that this 3 is hoping for, as that would place them in just outside the window. And a lot of these
Closing in on Kelly, 1.7 ahead.
for some, just outside for others on stretching this race in the very end.
It looks like the 3 is going to have about a 1.5 second lead coming to the line, but Ryan McCann, he's eating into it fast, Sam. I think for Ryan Kelly, if he's going to win this race, his goal is probably going to try to be to get to pit road either right before Brian McCann passes him or right after, so he can go in and get those fresh tires and try and gain as much time. And then hopefully he's going to be able to hold off Brian McCann. That's what the 3 is going to be thinking of. But look how fast McCann is. He's just coming already. He wasn't even in the picture. About
25 outside and clear.
And before you know it, he's going to be right behind the 3 car. It might be a lap or 2 more.
As drivers trying to get by lap car, James Kaufman staying high for Brian McCann. Kelly continues to stay out. As McCann is closing in, Kelly knows that it's getting close to pitting time. A lot of these drivers recognizing the window that's about to be starting. And, you know, with how close everyone is on track, for those that went for the 2-stop strategy and those that went for the 3-stop strategy, Justin, this gets into the mind games.
All right, if he follows suit, Kelly's going to pit next time by. We'll see.
Recognizing, okay, we have 1 pit stop left before this race is over. When does McCann pit? Because he can pit slightly sooner if he wants to take away any advantage this 3 is looking for.
That is a really great point.
Inside.
He could come in right now when the 3 comes in. He could come
2 lanes in.
It feels like he might be able to beat him on the long run. He might not want to risk letting the 3 get out there in those fresh tires.
You are clear low. Good job.
Down later on in the run. But as you see the 3 pull over right here, give plenty of room to the 8. Really respect
Kelly pit.
You see the 3 coming to pit road here. Gonna check it out. He's out of backfire. Doesn't
So did Nick Crawford.
Yeah, but no, here he comes.
I could pit
Bring it in.
and run a 43 lap
How long
run,
can now?
right?
And Nick Crawford also going to be following suit. A lot of other drivers on the radio.
You could, yeah. Absolutely.
James Peter also going to be hitting pit road, but staying out for an extra lap. Shane Terrian, as well as Bryson Hickson Baugh. These drivers were the first to pit when they were aiming for the 2-stop strategy.
What do y'all think about that?
Stop cycle starting for the first pit stop and the second. These 2 are the big ones.
Be like 107, 108.
When would we see the rest of the field make their strategy call of pitting? Because
But then I
You
might
would
be
cut
that.
into the 2 that were pitting a lap or 2 before you.
slight advantage for the next 5 to 10 laps if you continue on the strategy that we've seen so far this evening.
It will be interesting how long will Brian McCann stay out. Still doing it though, Sam. That was a great point that you brought up. He could have pitted.
Kyle saying keep that speed advantage on the fresh tires, and it sounds like Derek's pretty on board with that as well. Stay with pitting on lap 114.
Points.
What if we cut it in half at like 110?
If with this race getting under 50 to go here, everyone's going to be pitting soon.
You could do that 40-lap run.
Have a chance to bunch everyone back up unless we do get that late race to caution. So what does a driver like Cedric Hunter do? Someone who we're expecting to be our last driver to pit, but he's not going to have the lead, not going to have a chance to get any more valuable points. So it's something we're definitely going to see what happens here in about 7 to 10 laps to 13.
Currently, top 15 drivers still need to make their final pit stop. Cedric Hunter, as well as Christopher Norris. They are going to be forced into pit road here in the next 3 to 4 laps. They're going to have to pit Cedric Hunter, who we saw clutching 24 laps ago. 13 might be able to stretch it out another, I would say maybe 8 laps, 7 laps crossing the line now. So Hunter is going to be in a spot where he's just trying to stay on the lead lap as long as possible until they maybe get a caution. But right now, we have not seen any signs
Johnson might have the same idea too.
this evening. But a late caution really could change it.
It looks like it.
Justin, and that's, I think, the scare and kind of the strategy call for
I'm going to go ahead and set you up.
not so many late cautions these last couple of weeks that maybe he was planning out for, okay, now I've gambled, I need that caution. And same with Christopher Norris. They need the caution so badly if they want to stay in a fight and a chance to go for a win. But Hunter, he relinquishes the white flag. Pit stop for Douglas Newbicki.
All right, you're all set.
And Christopher Norris, they will not stretch it out as far as they can go. Instead, they make the stop, and they're going to have a 45 lap run to go after the end of this race and see how much time and positions they can gain back, because, again, we still have about 13.
I think 110 is a good number.
Their final stop of the night.
Those drivers are putting up their prayer.
Yeah, I think 110 is a good number.
That strategy is somehow gains them the points they can get so that they can get into this final round and go battle that
See if it'll throw P2 off you also.
championship. But it's going to be hard for them. Different strategies.
I don't think I'm not racing Johnson, right?
Not sure if it's going to work out for them. We're going to know though in about 44.
No, Johnson's ahead of you in points.
All right, I'm racing Therian in third.
67, so he can get an extra point. But feeling good for 32. Like
Right, yeah, you're racing Therian
at least 15th or better. 13th
and Ken Campbell.
make him feel really good. So right now he's going to be in 16th place, but
Ken Campbell right now is back in P7.
it's like should be in good condition. But as right now, it's a little looking on the outside.
Looking on the outside for now, going to be working with as well. Trying to push Larry Yingling forward, as they're going to be making their marches, trying to unlap themselves of Yingling, Hall, and plenty of others, as we've got 12th on back, at least one lap down. James Kaufman is 5 laps down. Ben Kinney called it a night, currently 86 laps down, and will not be showing any signs of getting back out on track. But Brian McCann is still out there on course, and I threw out the window for the 8, and the rest of the drivers aiming for the 3-stop strategy. Justin, around lap 110 to 120 was kind of the window. I was expecting drivers to make that pit stop. What is your idea, though?
Therian's going down pit road.
Very last moment that you can hit pit road.
Well, the first time I think Brian McCann came in at
Got
39.
one inside.
3 car looking underneath.
The next time it was 77.
All clear,
Came
all
out
clear.
earlier. So this time it's 109, so he's going a little bit longer this time than the second one. It's interesting. He's probably doing the math on how much time is he losing to Ryan Kelly. As you see Ryan Kelly actually get around him now. So I wonder if that's going to tell a signal to the 8 to maybe go in and get those tires. Doesn't
Fitness
Brian
time.
Johnson's 2 seconds back.
But it looks like
Fitness
he's
time.
staying another lap.
10-4.
Sam.
You're all set.
Another lap. Shane Terry first.
Again, don't forget your brake bias.
3-stop. That's going to hit pit road. Chris Stitz follows in suit as well with the 9 machine a lap later. And the trend has been, whenever Shane Terry and Bryson Hickson, while they've been pitting together, they don't this go around. And then Brad McCann pits the lap after those drivers. I'm curious if maybe McCann is looking out the window, trying to see, okay, where are certain drivers on track? Where can I kind of fit myself in a spot to make my final pit stop? Or maybe he's waiting for
All right,
Bryson
max speed on pit road.
go
Don't speed.
himself. But there is a playoff
Pit box
implication
in.
moment right now. We're keeping our eyes out on a situation. Brian
5,
P. Johnson has been gone for
3,
over a whole
2,
lap from the
1.
session.
Right
and if
here.
Brian P. Johnson disconnects and is trapped a lap down or more,
Good job.
the 28th chances of moving on to the next round could be up in smokes. And this could give an opportunity for someone to steal a spot into our championship 6.
Oh no, you see him.
Nobody else on pit road.
That's it,
Come when you're
go.
ready.
Still
Don't speed.
Still showing in the pits, but not back yet. 16th place. Wow, 17th, 18th. You just see him drop off the board there, Sam. That could
All right.
be
Watch blend line.
his chances to get in. It's such a driver to have in front is so great tonight. We hate seeing this happen for him.
Brian Johnson
You're going to be clear up when you're clear.
to our championship 6, our
79,
season
pitting,
1 champion for the
79,
WSSR.
There you go. Come on.
Might have just had a connection.
All you now, Brian.
Takes away his chances as Brian McCann now is going to exit out of pit
Oh,
road.
Brian.
Johnson is yet to fully disconnect
Still
from the
out,
server. He finally does now. And Johnson might be 4 to 5 laps down by the time that he finally gets back to the session.
Wow, we hate seeing that. So
Brian Johnson just lagged out.
Has so much speed throughout this race tonight. Had a chance to maybe even get that win. But, so unfortunate. We have to hope he gets back in and has a chance to at least redeem himself over these final 40 laps. But it's going to be so hard, Sam, especially with no cautions. Not a chance to maybe get a lap back or anything.
Outside, clear.
You're clear.
This now gives a complete
Good
wide
eye.
open opening for Shane Terry and Cedric Hunter, Nick Crawford. There's now hope left and breath being pushed into their sail.
Nelson, Hicksenbach, Campbell, and Gaudio on pit road.
Round
That's going to move you up to P7.
underway for those that are making their final pit stop of the race. At the field has already done their their final pit stop of the night. Others are finishing off. Sean Forbes, Cameron Sargent, Ollie Fonseca, still needing to make their stops. Ryan Kelly in fourth, though, has already completed his stop for the night. Same for seventh place runner, Brian McCann. McCann and Ryan Kelly, those are the two that we're circling up and watching out. Where will they be once this pit cycle fully completes?
And for all our friends out there that would like to do math for fun, you can say it's about 10 seconds of a difference between Brian Kelly and Brian McCann. So we're going to see when this race cycles through it and their running order cycles back to them being at the top is 10 seconds now. So what will it be as we now have 36 laps to go? Will there be enough time for Brian McCann to get up there and get that win, or will Ryan Kelly be able to take this race and get that momentum going into next week?
Update on Brian P. Johnson. He is starting to reconnect into the session, but currently 5 laps down. It might be up to 6 laps to 7 laps down when he gets back out on track and has fallen to 23rd position. So at this moment, Brian Johnson's going to need a lot of help of his other competitors that kind of fall off and have some bad runs, something go wrong to allow the 28 to stay in a championship hope for season 8. Otherwise, Johnson, who was having a fabulous season coming into tonight and thought he had a chance to maybe run for a championship, might have just gone up in smoke just because of one internet issue that popped up. And it's kind of like having a mechanical issue in real life. This is the virtual side of things, though. That's that random mechanical issue that just throws away a race.
That to the random engine failure, you can't predict it. Don't know when it'll happen, but unfortunately,
Outside. Hold on to it. There you go. Clear up. Good job. Good job. Hold on.
glued to each other pretty much throughout the whole night. I swear, anytime we have them on the screen, they're right there in that running order. It's really funny that they just seem like they cannot.
I was keeping an eye on him.
Cam Sarton went down pit road.
These positions on track.
I got you, bud.
He's not exactly happy with me.
Zach Hall, multiple regular season champion, trying to
He'll get over it.
into the championship run. Came in tonight for
Leader in P2 were last on pit road, lap 89. They have to go down pit road.
Hall.
Ryan Kelly and Nick Crawford are ahead of you. They were last on pit road, lap 100. So those are the guys you got to catch.
Make it into the next round and run for the championship. And with all the troubles that now happened with Brian McCann, also seeing the likes of
Outside.
kind of having some struggles, and the fact that
17 right rear.
it's been the favorite driver.
Still there.
It was an opening that we're seeing 2 drivers that were inside of our top 6 coming into tonight could be bounced out based on how the trends have been here this evening.
P5.
All up to who can find themselves in a victory lane. We're still waiting on about 6 drivers to make their final, 4 drivers to make their final stop. Those are up front. John Forbes, Ali Fonseca still need to make their final stop.
You were faster than Crawford by a combined almost 3/10 over the last 5 laps.
Road here in the next, let's say 4 to 5 laps for Cody Reed is going to be as long as he can push it for the 52. And as well, back in 18th place, 1 lap down, Christopher Wade.
Right in front of you, Brian.
Even make 1 more stop.
And he's the only other guy I'm racing,
The field
right?
already concluded their stops, and the favorite driver that we expected aiming for victory lane, it's Brian McCann, but he's still trying
No, you got Kelly in front of him.
difference.
But everybody else that you're racing as far as points, they're behind you.
Now just 3.
I thought, is Crawford in front of me or behind me in points?
Yeah, Kelly right now is sitting P3 in points.
That 8 machine is out there.
Crawford.
You might even get a chance
Nick Crawford?
to Ryan Kelly before the front 2 pit.
Yeah, he's sitting P9 in points right now.
Ball in.
All right, I'm about to pass him. So as long as I don't wreck or something bad happen, I think we're in the playoffs here.
Oh, Brian McCann is so fast tonight, ultra fast.
You got it.
One of those drivers that is able to hit it. We talked about it around lap 18, 19. It seemed like he got around there and he just started pulling away immediately. Just had this race figured out from the beginning. Super fast night for the 8 machine. He's going to get around 74 here on the outside from that turn 2.
Nice pass on the outside. Cody Reed has now woven his white flag. Hits pit road for 52. Is in a must-win scenario to make the championship.
Oh yeah, we're going for the W.
And he'll now fall to being 2 laps down before this
Derek pays me $100 for every W in this series.
to go here tonight. And all the drivers hunting for a trophy, smack a trophy. Be like
I'm at 1.5 behind P3, and the guys in front of him have to pit.
custom trophy was made for Benjamin Nelson, who won the Season 7 championship, you can get your own custom championship trophy, ring, belt, and more at Trophy Smack. You might be curious on what the more is. Well, the more is called Wall Smack. Wall Smack is a metal plate that also has a wall-mounting magnet safe system that allows you to place your Wall Smack picture that you can completely customize with your own photo that you like on it, and put it on the wall safely
I hear you, Derek.
to all those in the house, or you can get a stand, place it on your desk or shelf. Remember, when purchasing your Wall Smack or any item from Trophy Smack, to use the promo code WSSR Smack for 10% off. Thank you for Trophy Smack for being our
I hear you too, Kyle.
championship trophy, and also for 3 seasons
I don't think none of those are going to happen.
for the WSSR for the last 4 seasons. The field is slowly marching to the end.
This can be interesting. We got new tires behind us.
Definitely faster than the 3 through the center and off.
Have enough fuel to make it to the end of this race, but they're going to try their best to continue to stay out there on course.
28's going to try looking low. 3's on the bottom.
Screen, the 3 and the 8 machine in Ollie Fonseca.
3 inside.
McCann's been the fastest driver to watch out for. And the 8 is ripping the top. And this is the pass, what should be for the lead. But Ollie boxes in McCann to the wall. And now McCann's going to be
24 inside. Hold it up.
McCann once again tries to go.
You are clear, sir.
Blocks and defends further up.
28's behind you, but that is not a battle for position. You are P1. Go get it, Brian.
To 2, and just like that, the 8 is gone. Kelly, watching his victory, just pull away.
Ain't gonna give no chance to 3, making sure.
Just waiting on Forbes to go down pit road, and it's all you.
I can't believe it, Sam. It was 10.5 seconds like we talked about. He's just on a tear. He was clearly about a second to 1.2 seconds a lap faster. And you can see how much the gap already has grown. The 8 really has his track figured out tonight, just flying out here. As John Forbes yet to pit, it's 11 seconds for Brian McCann, but Brian McCann's going to be trying to chase down the 11 before he gets to the pits and see if he can get to him. That's going to be the next challenge for Brian McCann tonight.
Still out on track is John Forbes. Forbes has been just getting up and to go from the last pit stop in the 11 with a 10.4 second gap, and it's dwindling down quickly. Forbes is going to have to stay out as long as possible, and looking at the fuel run, it's going to be about 6 laps shy from taking it to the end. It's going to be close, but that is a lot of extra laps. That's counting if somehow John Forbes was saving.
You're catching him between a half and a full second every lap.
First pit stop window where Hunter saved
Broadcast is saying he can't make it.
laps, which was an extra 8 laps that no one else had done.
No, he can't. He was on pit road last on 89.
Board here right with him. You seen that, like you mentioned, the big circle there. You see 7 now growing to 8,000 RPMs. Is he able to save gas getting into this corner? Is he on some strategy where he thinks maybe he would make it? Don't hear the car shutting off, Sam, but you said, hey, we got 22 to go. You never know if he's able to just manage this gap between Brian McCann. All he's got to do is get to the finish line before him, if it's possible. Not sure if that's going to happen, though. It would be crazy if that happened.
Yeah, this would be the most incredible save, and as you can see there, that RPM circle is dropping down to 0. You're not hearing the engine completely shut off. So John Forbes is
He's not clutching, he's not shutting it off, he's not doing anything like that.
run as quickly as he can, and that's why he had the gap built up so much bigger than what Ollie Fonseca had run down. Ollie, it looked like, was trying to save fuel on the other foot. John Forbes was just going as quickly as possible, and at this moment, Forbes is still in the lead, being hunted and hounded by some lap traffic on fresher rubber, and this 11 is going to be slightly
3-second gap already back to the guy behind you.
navigate around this traffic and kind of give space to them to take all these positions away.
Hey, the 11 get a little loose coming out of that corner. That tells me he's definitely in the gas hard, trying to come out of that corner and carry as much speed as he can and keep that 8 behind him. I mean, most likely hoping for a caution stand as long as he can. The caution does come out. He'll pit. Everyone will pit. He'll be on new tires. He should have the lead.
20 to go, sir.
The strategy that he's really playing tonight, trying to get that late season win here, the number 11 machine.
Again, if you're just joining us, 20 laps to go. We have been clean and green all race long. The last time that WSSR ran at this track, Legacy, Kentucky, was back in season 6. They went caution-free during that race as well. They're trying to double down on a caution-free race here this season to get their second caution-free race of the season. And here tonight, it's looking to be primed for Brian McCann to be the favorite to watch out for, but there's a lot of other drivers still trying to have some of their best runs here tonight. He's a driver we really haven't talked about a lot. Now it's getting the 18 machine of James Heater back in 16th.
Just checking, are you off my spotter?
Close in the gap to Brian Noel and find a way.
Yeah, I'm not on your spotter.
right.
At least get close, just in case there's a late caution.
I'm just thinking of all the things that could go wrong here.
But rest of the field, all in
Don't do that.
playoff racing for
I'm on cruise control
Don't
mode.
get that itchy elbow and all that. You'll be fine.
this round, where 6 drivers will race at Charlotte and in Kansas.
There's no nuts and bolts rattling around in the back.
Season 8 championship. Zach Hall came into tonight's race with 15-point buffer. Ryan Kelly had an 11-point buffer. He had 7 points buffer to work with here tonight. Ken Campbell had a 4.
That's not how I think.
And Brian McCann was the bubble driver, just 3 points over Shane Terrian. Shane Terrian was behind by 3 points. Cedric Hunter was behind by 4 points.
By the way, your tires last time were 61 in front, 62 in the back, 279, 272 in the back.
And as this race has progressed forward, there's been drivers that have kind of been in a bubble spot that are looking concerned. Brian P. Johnson having late internet issues, currently 5 laps down, back in 23rd position. Ken Campbell runs in 10th place. And Ken Campbell is in a position here, Justin, where it's a great run. It's a traditional run by Ken Campbell, but it might not be enough because Shane Terrian is running in 4th. That is in a perfect position for the 9 to steal one of these last positions into the playoffs.
The 15 will be hoping that maybe Ollie Fonseca can get up there and get around the
Forbes and Fonseca on pit road.
point away from him, or a guy like Bryson.
Guess who just took the lead?
Right, as Ollie Fonseca actually hits the pits as we talked about it. So Ken Campbell, he's hoping someone else is able to get around the 9 machine in 3rd place there, Shane Therian, try and get those points. But you know what? All of that he needs to do, Ken Campbell, is try and get around some of the guys in front of him and gain back some of those points and get back in there, because we know he could be fast and he could have a chance to go to those final 2 races and have a great showing. I do want to bring up the 79 of Benjamin Nelson, a driver who we know is locked in. He's the only one that did not have to worry tonight, Sam. You talked about it.
32.5 for you, 32.8 for P2, 32.5 for P3.
On characteristics, driving from him, not used to seeing him make those mistakes, Sam. But in next week, you're not going to be able to make that mistake, or the following race going into the final race. Can have a slip up. Tonight when he was going into pits, I just noticed he slid through the box just ever so slightly, had it back up. Didn't really matter in tonight's race with being caution free and so spread out, but you get a late race restart and get in there and slide through that box later on in the race next week or the following one at Kansas, that could really cost you the championship. So something you definitely want to get cleaned up.
Yeah, certainly you do want to get cleaned up. Benjamin Nelson.
You've been the fastest of the top 3 for the last 5 laps in a row.
Because of the miscues and contact that was unnecessary and unsafe re-entry on track at Iowa, 79 had to start at the end of the line here tonight, up to 4th, and might have a chance to grab 3rd with how quick 79 is running. But as we were talking, their Justin pit stops were made with Ollie Fonseca. John Forbes is now gifted to the lead to Brian McCann in the 8 machine. And with these laps slowly ticking away, 13 laps to go here tonight.
All clear.
Brian McCann with a 6-second advantage over Ryan Kelly, and it continues to grow. This has been a perfect
11 looking inside.
machine as he continues to try to pull away, which
He's all clear.
lap that clocks down.
Brian McCann, he has
6 seconds back to P2, working on 7 seconds.
If it wasn't for the pit stop cycles, he probably would have been leading all but those first 17 laps. Just driving really put it together. Once he got out front, there was no touching him. He just was gapping the field and pulling away from everyone. Did everything he needed to do. Some of these guys tried different pit strategies, but he was able to just work through all those scenarios and just really hammer away from everyone. I mean, he's built up almost 7-second lead now over 2nd place, and it's eventually probably going to be Shane Therian who gets around Ryan Kelly, and it might even go back to 8 or 9 seconds, which is just a huge win if he's able to hold on for these final 12 laps. But on iRacing with these same setups, to get a big win like that, multiple seconds, and the guy behind you, that's so impressive. So it really speaks volume for Brian McCann tonight.
Certainly will be. 11 laps to go, and one of the best battles on track. It's about to be for second place. Ryan Kelly, Shane Terrian, Benjamin Nelson. They are all on top of one another with lap traffic mixed and mingled in between.
I feel the width of my headphones growing.
The 9, and it's given a chance for Nelson, who started back in last place. Might have a chance to even take second with the pace we're seeing for the 79 machine. Terrian's trying to aim for a top 3 finish here. Again, for Terrian, his goal, stay 4 positions. Or
25 is going to try looking outside, right rear.
Stay low.
Campbell,
Door.
no driver is close to him.
And he's clear.
Campbell is stuck in 7. Terrian needs to stay at least in 3rd, if not move up to 2nd and hold that 2nd position with 10 laps to go. It's still a mark of who might be in or out because of the fact that Brian McCann, who came in as our bubble driver, just a 3-point advantage coming into tonight and about to win this race. If we stay clean and green, the 8 could lock himself in, and Campbell can be bounced out, and Brian P. Johnson's in a tough spot where he might be bounced out as well.
Going to be really close, but like you mentioned, the 79, he's coming. He might get around to 9 here, but then the 3 is going to be right there. Will the 9 be able to get back around to 3 and at least make that be a net? No loss, no gain. The 79 passing, the 9 is going to have to do his job and get around to 3. As he sees, he gets really high coming out of the corner there, Sam, but he's able to pull it back down in front of the 79 and blow him off for another lap. We have now 8.
Coming to Lucky's 7 to go.
Sure. If someone's in Shane's ear, he's got to let him know, hey, yes, you're running with Ken Campbell. Campbell is the original driver you're focusing on. But at this moment, you just have to be the furthest up ahead of all drivers that are out.
Hey, Kyle, we might be here in about 6 laps.
Position.
6, 7 laps, whatever.
You're into the next round and running for a championship. Don't throw this race away.
Dang it.
Ken Campbell.
I was wondering if somebody was going to
boy.
throw a banana out.
Stints gets spun. 7 laps to go. Delay caution. This could change everything.
Oh, 7 laps to go. We were not expecting it. We really thought Brian
Oh, definitely going to be coming down pit road. I'll go ahead and set you up.
I can't see anyone staying out, but you know what, Sam? Someone out back is going to probably have to do that to try and have a chance to win if they're not in. Look at the replay right here. You see the 17 spinning on the front straightaway.
Nah, that's all good, Kyle.
Who would have thought that this was 7 to go here?
Yeah, I was kind of enjoying that lead there.
Stints. 34 lap old tires. He's going to be caught by Bryce.
2 or 4, Brian?
On 30.
Oh, 4.
Ah, never mind. Don't even.
See the rear end kind of slide up for the.
Yeah. That's what I said. That was stupid.
Slow down dramatically off the exit of the corner. Hits him on rear ends the 17, and that spin with oncoming traffic.
All right, you're all set.
Sets us up with a possible inside the regulation. Green, white, checkered with 7 laps to go on the caution coming out. This is going to be a shootout to see who's making it into the
Top 16 are on the lead lap.
Brian McCann, you thought you were safe, secure. Not going to happen. The late caution pops up, and a driver that is happy to see it, Cedric Hunter, who talked about how his strategy was so
Max speed on pit road, but don't speed.
He wanted to be. The 13's back in the mix for a chance to try to make all these passes, get in front of Ken Campbell, and make his spot for a chance into our championship. 6, the first pit stops. You got to be clean here. This is going to be your last stop of the night. Don't make a mistake and lose track position.
Will anyone take 2 tires? Will anyone risk staying out? We're going to find out really shortly here, but I can't see anyone really taking 2 or 0 tires. Sam, I think 4's got to be a way to go, but with so few laps to go, what will you do? These drivers are right now thinking strategy.
Ready?
As you see the 8 machines getting right sides right there.
Come.
See the lefts go up too.
Don't speed.
Those as well.
And drivers expecting to take 4 tires in fuel, but 1 driver does stay out. John Forbes stays out. Shane Terrian takes 2. Nelson takes 2.
Them 2 tires going to have a tough time, I'm thinking.
Crawford also needs a big gain and needs to see.
I think you're probably right, especially as loose as it is right off the get-go.
Majorly slip up, and the 74 could be having a chance to race for a championship. And Brian McCann.
All right, so Forbes stayed out. Last time he was on pit road lap 134.
In the grasp of his hands with 7 laps to go. The caution comes out, and now he's
9.9 and a 9.63 pit stop for Therian, Nelson, and Crawford. So all 3 took 2 tires. You're the first one there on all 4.
fight for a championship.
And listen, everyone out there, John Forbes, while he did stay out on old tires, they're not that old. Remember, he just pitted recently ago. I mean, those tires maybe just are heated up nice where they got that nice grip and they can fire off. All he's got to do is just stay in front of these guys for a couple laps. He's going to have a buffer with guys behind him on 2 tires.
Yeah, anything could happen here.
Tires, hot left side tires. Maybe they don't have the grip going.
I think I got to beat both. I got to beat both Therian and Crawford, so I got to go here.
He could be in good shape here.
And I'm on the bottom.
And looking at the drivers.
Well, don't forget Brian Johnson. He's 4 or 5 laps down.
The likes of Cody Reed.
Yeah, but I gotta.
Came into the race in P4 in points.
Excuse me. And Chris Stitt's going to be taking the waiver out for themselves.
Crawford and Therian's behind me though in points.
Then we've got at least 17. They're absolutely on the lead lap getting service.
I need to beat them to be safe.
Gifted the lucky dog. But Ollie Fonseca, I mean, he's happy to defer.
Ken Campbell's behind you.
Needing a quick caution to get some fresh tires for drivers that are.
I think you're going to be okay, but I'd race it out.
11 machine. It's going to be a 11 lap difference on tires. And the way we've seen these tires fall off, the degradation so far this evening, I would say this 11's a sitting duck, and he's banking on a great restart and some quick cautions that might give a chance for the 11 to stay up front.
It will be really interesting. Definitely old tires. We've seen the difference. We've seen drivers run about 1.5 seconds faster on newer tires. The question will be, how hard was the 11 pushing after that pit strategy? Was he just hoping for a caution to come out? Maybe he wasn't pushing as hard. But he's got to cool them down if he's going to have any chance to hold them off. I'm expecting these guys to get around him. We saw it last week at Iowa.
Man, we're probably
going to see it again tonight. Drivers on these new tires being able to make up that ground. But these guys that took 2 tires, will Brian McCann be able to get
a restart P5?
Get that win that he felt like he probably earned by dominating this race so much tonight. But the late race caution changes everything, Sam. You never know. It always brings something to fun for us to talk about here at the end when you have a late race caution unexpectedly.
Shane Terrian, driver outside looking in, needing massive points. Nick Crawford, who's going to be restarting in 3rd. A win, locks
green white checker.
Championship. He was 9 points out coming into tonight. Cedric Hunter, 4 points out coming into tonight. He's back in 9th. He needs a lot of help and needs to go into overtime. But this is the scenario.
They don't make it easy.
We are still inside of regulation. This is going to be a green-white checkered. We're going to have 2 laps to finish out this race. If under this first lap, when we go green, we get a yellow flag, we are heading.
Brian Kelly's going to be to your outside.
Flag. It's all about
Ken Campbell and Bryson Hicksonbaugh going to be behind you.
With us.
Keep the chat to the minimum on
John
stream.
Oldest tires. Brian McCann thought he was going to get.
Thank you guys.
I got you, buddy.
SSR win.
Not talking to you, repeat.
Sit back and wait for another chance, unless he somehow
ready.
Gap. But for the drivers up front,
go. He went way early.
Making the championship 6. Benjamin Nelson, the only driver locked in into this restart for the championship.
74 is to your right rear, clear.
A little bit of a move. Nick Crawford messes up on the restart, and they're already going to be having 3 wide back in 4th place, almost 4 wide, get down into turn number 1.
Clear up.
Shane Terrian up to 2nd.
74 coming up the right rear.
Crawford with the misship that might throw away his chance.
Clear up.
74 definitely did not need that for his chance.
74's got nothing on exit.
Look at the 8 though and get underneath them, trying to make up that ground there on those 4 tires. But like you mentioned,
there you go.
Fired off, got a great restart.
Looking low.
Field.
White flag.
He's hoping to get the white flag here coming up and try and get this race won. Coming to 1 to go.
White flag is
4 tires.
White flag for the field.
Pulling ahead. Clear.
A little bit under half a second. Rest of the field trying to slot their way in. McCann hoping to continue to stay forward. He cannot afford for the game to get caught up in a wreck. Oh, John Forbes took the gamble, took the chance. The race.
Shane Therian beat me though.
But John Forbes on the exit of turn 4 will play spoiler and find him.
Shane Therian did
here in the WSSR.
But everybody else finished behind you. You're going to be good.
Wow, the 11 takes it.
Shane Therian was
wow, that strategy
had the cutoff with me.
Maybe those tires definitely get around him, but he fired off so good he had to.
Shane Therian's behind you.
Able to come home, get the.
Yeah, but he's going to leap from me there. How many points was
I'm
behind
not
me?
sure that he led.
At Kentucky.
And then the calculators get pulled.
He was
who's out, and it looks to be
3.
An already absolute Brian P.
Oh, so we're good then if he was behind me by 3.
Internet failure
Yeah.
The 28 looks
Yeah.
to not be having a
Oh,
chance.
You're
thank
straight,
God.
Brian.
I thought he was behind me by one.
Going to take that spot. Everyone else looks to be settled in where they need
Nope.
to be, but we're going to wait for confirmation because Zach Hall is pretty far.
You were at 3,039. He was at 3,036.
John Forbes gets to have his fun. We wait for the math and the calculations to come in. When we come back, we'll talk to our top three. Get a spotlight driver. Get their
You deserve that W.
What a win. What a finish. The Steeler, John Forbes, enjoying the victory.
Yeah, man,
Great
that-
race, Brian.
Right after this.
That was
Way to
our
control a
win.
very, very tough car.
Then that thank you, repeat. And that dang caution. Who threw that caution? Where was that at? Let's go back and review that one.
That was 10 to go, if not a little less. 8, maybe.
Banana pill on the track somewhere. Who was it? I don't remember who it was.
Yeah. Let's see if it'll tell me. It's not.
Oh.
He
Nice.
just got shoved.
What where's he at in the points? He's not even in the playoffs.
17.
Neither is
No.
Chris Stitz.
Stitz went the lap down really, really early.
Interesting. Hey man, I'm gonna
Yes.
wiggle a little bit. Catch
Stitz
me in the rear.
finished 19.
He sure was wiggling though. Oh,
Yeah. He was chasing it all the way up the track.
oh, Johnson. Johnson was behind me. I thought for some reason he was in front of me. You probably called that out several times. I just wasn't listening.
Yeah, Johnson disconnected.
Oh, they updated the points.
He was
Yeah,
the
I'm
one
in.
that was behind you by.
Yeah, I leapfrog. I'm in third now, so I leapfrogged Zach, Campbell, Hunter, Crawford. Yeah, I moved up to third. Hunter, Crawford, Johnson, Norris, and Reed got eliminated. So the championship 6 is going to be Nelson, Kelly, me, Hall, Therian, and Campbell. So Campbell was the last driver to make it in.
Yeah, barely. Now, do the points reset where everybody's got 4K, or
Yeah, they will. They'll knock the top 6 will reset to 4K exactly. So we will
difference
all
off.
start. Yeah, so regular season, like bonus points or whatever, will not count in this championship final 2 race. So everybody in the top 6 going for championship will start even next week.
gotcha? How do you feel about Charlotte Motor Speedway, sir? Home
Charlotte, I
track.
Yeah, I like Charlotte.
Definitely looking forward to it.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch. I did do the Gen 4 at Charlotte. I got to go back and I might even have notes on that one. So I got to figure out what I did.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, if I can help in any way, please let me know.
Race show for the WSSR.
All right, man, you headed out.
Series Season 8 playoff action.
Yeah, I'm gonna head down, grab a shower, grab some Z's, head back to work tomorrow.
Forbes in the 11 machine.
All right, man, take it easy.
Took a risk.
Thanks for
At the end
spotting.
of the day, the 11 machine was able.
You got it. Have a good night. Great race, man. Great race. I'll talk to you later.
Up
Thank
in
you.
the booth. How are you feeling, and how the heck did you get that win at the end of the night?
Yeah, I really was not expecting to be up here going into like the last 10 laps.
That's John talking right
My
now.
strategy through the race was just run hard and just drain it dry of fuel while running 100%. And I was hoping we were going to get a caution there. Me and Ollie were on the same strategy. We were hoping a caution was going to come out, and then the tank was dry, and we're like, well, I guess our race is pretty much over. We're going to be sitting way back like 15th to 20th. That's probably where we will finish here. And then a caution came out, which was very unexpected after how the whole race went. So everyone's telling me like, no, don't just come in, take rights. Like the fall off's too much. And I was like, well, I got nothing to lose. I mean, I'm sitting here in 13th. I might as well just do the opposite of everyone else and see what happens. And the clean air paid off. It really didn't get any competition there. I think I jumped the restart zone a little bit.
Oh, he admitted to it.
It was, so yeah, I'll take the penalty on that, but it paid off.
John, congratulations on the win. It was just fantastic to see you up there driving on those old tires and holding off for everyone behind you. You mentioned the restart. You had such a great restart. Was that where you were really putting the emphasis on? You're like, if I could get a really good restart here and beat those guys, I think I could hold them off on these old tires. Is that what your main strategy was there for those final 3 laps?
Yeah, I really didn't know how well I was going to compare to everyone else, so I was just figuring like, okay, we'll get through 1 and 2, and it's either going to slide right up the track and I'm going to go to the back, or we might have a shot here. And then went on the restart and got a bit of a lead there, so I was like,
I'm surprised 2 tires
onto
did
it.
as good. And the leader with no tires.
And they didn't really get any.
But his tires really wasn't that old, so.
The last lap was pretty fun, just seeing everyone back there a little
Damn,
bit.
did he take off?
Keep it clean and we'll wrap this thing up.
And that's exactly what you did, wrapping it up. I mean, John, what a season it's been. A lot of ups and downs.
That's quite impressive for however many old tires,
Just 2 more races
old tires he was on.
season. How are you feeling you're going to be able to take this momentum into these final 2 races of season 8?
Yeah, you know, obviously I wish I was still in the playoffs, but
Oh yeah,
with that
4 tires would have been golden after like 5 or 6
the
laps.
best of me that night and got into him and really ended the run for myself there. So I only have myself to blame on that. But after that, it's almost been fun to come out here and run, not have the pressure.
But we didn't need to win that one.
Able to-
We just needed to be in the playoffs for next week.
I feel like when you're in that playoff picture, you don't want to be that guy that's doing something different. And that's obviously what got me the win here tonight. So I've just been able to open up the strategy book a little bit and just played my cards a little bit different. So it's been fun to do that, and I'm really excited to do that in the next 2 races as well.
Well, John, again, congratulations.
I'm gonna go ahead and head out.
Your second
I don't think there's anything else to look at.
for yourself. And now the floor is yours.
Thank you everybody for sticking around tonight and helping out and almost seeing a win.
And now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Kyle, for ruining that.
Obviously, you guys for hosting
just
these
picking.
things.
Y'all have a good night.
Go back and rewatch and hear the calls.